Georgia, Ole Miss
Mm.
in the Grove on a
Mm.
Saturday afternoon. Just a 2.5 point spread. Las Vegas thinks this game is going to be close. Do we think it's going to be close? Next on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on? Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. And the everydayers that are here with us, we do this podcast for you. It's for fans, by fans. He is Daniel. I am Clint. Together, Locked On Bulldogs at Dawgs Podcast over on the X. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com, where all of today's locks will be made by Daniel and I, the official sportsbook of Locked On
Looking
Bulldogs.
at the app right now.
The app is up. It is running, and it has this just in. That tab hasn't closed.
No, we don't close the tab.
The tab has stayed open. Okay.
Mm-hmm. When you're swiping up on all the apps on the phone, closing everything down, you just leave that one alone.
You leave that one.
You don't touch it.
It is like a bar in DC. That tab is not closed this week at all. It's just running up either side of what just happened. It doesn't matter. We are talking today about locks. We're giving you all the locks from the game. We're talking about this Georgia game against Ole Miss. If you didn't see the preview that we did with Stephen Willis, get over to yesterday's episode. He's going to give you insight to it.
Go watch that.
Go watch it over on YouTube.
In fact, pause this.
Yep.
Pause this and go check that one out and then come back. Stephen, Pro's pro. What a pro.
I was paused there for a second, Daniel. If you didn't pick up what I was doing there.
We have so many technical difficulties, Clint. You can't play with me like that.
Sorry, I can't.
There's a reasonable chance that was going to be real.
Okay, teased it in the open.
Yeah, let's jump into this game. We talked about it all week. Georgia, Ole Miss. You obviously talked about it with Steven. Got the Ole Miss perspective. Got some of his thoughts on the game. Break down for me, Clint, when all is said and done. We've talked about the Lane Kiffin versus Kirby Smart matchup. We've talked about the improved Ole Miss defense. We scored 52 on them last year. The defense is much improved. Our offense probably has regressed since last year quite a bit. So what will we see on that side of the ball? How is this game going to go? Another road spot. The biggest road test left. The only road test left. On the season. Does Georgia go in here and get a win on Saturday? And do you have a lock in this game?
It's really wild. I'm going to answer you this way first and foremost. You say Ole Miss has an improved defense. I'm not doubting they have an improved defense. I'm not saying it's not better. I'm saying, just like we have said against a lot of Georgia's opponents this year, Texas found out to be a little true on them. Although Georgia has played a very tough slate on the road and all that. Again, I'm just going to list Ole Miss's opponents: Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas. I find 1.5. I'm going to give South Carolina a half because they are the most hot and cold team in America.
Sure.
LSU
later for locks.
There. Yes, sir. No, thank you. That's what we call a tease. LSU, the only formidable offense on their schedule.
And they played well at Tiger Stadium at night. That defense, I thought, held LSU down. LSU, the offense couldn't do enough to propel Ole Miss to the win, but I thought overall you couldn't ask for much more from that Ole Miss defense in that game.
But I just ask you, LSU can't do one half of the offensive side of the ball particularly well at all, and that is running. They can't run that daggum football worth anything.
That's true.
Okay. Conversely, Georgia, by all accounts, by the way, first injury report came out, notably not listed ETN. ETN not listed on injury reports right now. Anthony Evans out. Hall probable. Got a couple of guys that are really interesting to note who's coming back, but no ETN. It's a pain thing. He's going to be good to go, Daniel. He's going to be on a pitch count just like every other running back, just like it is all the time. I'm not saying he's going to be the bell cow, but just like any other game, Frazier, Phillips, Cash Jones, ETN are going to be there. That's fine. That's a great running attack. Offensive line doing well. So to answer it, Ole Miss's defense doesn't scare me. They are improved. I'm not saying they're not improved. Their defensive line is the best unit on their team. Strength on strength, though. Your defensive line against our offensive line, I'll take our O-line right now. In pass pro, when Carson Beck is getting play action, when he gets pressured, he gets all in his head and he sees ghosts everywhere out there. That is true. But much of that is because of his own forced errors on first down. I think Mike Bobo takes the risk out of his hands this game. I think Mike Bobo says, screw you don't get to throw on first down. Congratulations.
Yep.
You only get to throw play action. I think we're going to mitigate that. We're going to lower the risk. I think the offensive line is going to be great running the game. And I think Cass Jones and Frazier and Phillips are enough. Quite frankly, that right there, we saw what Frazier can do. So I think I do have a lock in this game. I anticipate us covering this 2.5 spread, even though Vegas does not think we will. Vegas has stayed the course on 2.5, Daniel, with all that money. 90% of the money coming on Georgia hasn't moved. I have the lock of Georgia covering the 2.5, winning by at least 3. I have this game at maybe a 25, 23 range for Georgia to 20, somewhere in there, a little bit south for Ole Miss. I do think they put either team gets to 30. The weather is changed. Stephen Willis has given me some thoughts on that and what the weather looks like, as well as Jackson Dart and this offense. Running backs might be different for Ole Miss. They might not be in as much. So if you make Ole Miss already one-dimensional, they can't run the game. Kirby Smart can go ahead and get in that pass set, changes things. Give me the Dogs covering this spread as my lock. Daniel, do you have a lock in this game?
I do. I'm going to go Georgia minus 2.5 as well. I don't necessarily agree with all of the analysis, but I do agree with the end result. I do think Georgia's going to win this game. And I like Kirby Smart against Lane Kiffin. I just like the matchup. I like Georgia's defense in this game a lot. And I have a second lock in the game.
Well, here we go.
It's a bit of a hedge lock.
Interesting.
So both I could win. I could certainly win on both. But I'm hedging my Georgia minus 2.5 with I'm going to bet Georgia team total under 28.5. Clint. I just don't think I like the full game under, but to be honest with you, I think the thing that scares me off the full game under is like Ole Miss winning this game and getting loose. Like I think that is an outcome.
Yeah.
In this game. I think Ole Miss beating us by 15 to 20 points is an outcome in this game. And that's what scares me off the full game under. I think if Georgia wins, you're going to be exactly right on that score. I think it's going to be like 27-21 or something if Georgia wins, or 24-17.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take the Georgia team total under 28.5. I just don't think there's going to be a shootout.
No.
That is the outcome I do not see. I do not see a 35-31 game here. I could see a 42-28 game, but I don't see a shootout. And so I'm going to take Georgia minus 2.5, and I'm going to take Georgia team total under 28.5. That's it for this game. Check back with us tomorrow. We'll talk to you about what we're excited about, what we're nervous about, what you shouldn't sleep on. But for today, we've got lots more locks in college football coming up right after these.
With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost in the IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides privileges of a high net worth of any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risks. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. But that's not all, Daniel. I want to let you know about FanDuel as well. FanDuel.com. Fantastic place to go right now. Daniel, all of these locks that we're giving you, we are making our bet ourselves, putting our hard-earned cash into it, and you should do it too, because it's the official Locked On Bulldogs podcast, sports app, or sports book. We love them. You should love them as well. Right, how you could tackle NFL action with the #1 sportsbook with $150 in bonus bets if you win a $5 bet. When you have a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if you join. If you win with a $5 bet, that's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Here we go. We got more locks, and we got plenty of them coming at you. Daniel, do you have any Friday night action?
I think for the first time all year, all the rest of my locks, and I have 6 of them, are all on Saturday.
Here we go. My man out here saying, hey, how about...
Listen, it's getting chilly, so we might as well throw all the logs on the fire. You understand what I'm trying to say? Let's just get this thing
get going.
Yeah.
Here, I got a Friday action.
All right.
Friday
give it to
late.
The people.
I'm going to give it to you. There's a couple of things that I know in life, and one of them is that the UCLA Bruins don't give 2 cruds about playing football.
Nah.
They don't care.
Coach Wood not walking through that door.
No.
That was the last successful coach at UCLA. So we're finished.
We're done.
Yeah. Mick Cronin has been successful. By the way, it's college basketball season.
Here we go. Found a way to work it into segment 2. Didn't even wait till segment 3.
Up.
You know, y'all.
No,
Iowa.
Segment 2 folks need to hear about it too.
Iowa coming over to play the Bruin. 5.5 is the spread. Iowa is the more disciplined team, the better talented team, the more focused team. They take every game seriously. It doesn't matter. They don't quit on the team. It's Iowa. They do fundamentals. UCLA does not do fundamentals. Don't do really anything in football. And 5.5 points is not a lot of points. Give me Hawkeye laying the 5.5 as a road favorite in the weird conference that has Iowa and UCLA, the weird schedule having Iowa, UCLA playing. Daniel, what's the first bet you got for the people?
Well, let's play the hits to start with here. Okay, let's go the nightcap in the SEC. Alabama, Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, LSU. Alabama's the favorite in this game.
They are.
They're favored. I'm sorry, I'll say it again. They're the favorite in this game on the road in Tiger Stadium.
Vegas believes that Alabama should be the team that is going to win this game, Daniel. Yes, correct.
Do you know how many times Brian Kelly has lost a night game in Tiger Stadium?
Well, you said Brian Kelly and LSU. How many?
It's exactly 0. Oh. He has never lost a night game in Tiger Stadium as the head coach of the LSU Tigers, including the dramatic overtime win against the aforementioned Ole Miss Rebel Black Bears earlier this season. Give me LSU +3. I think you have a very simple wrong team is favored situation. On a neutral site, I would probably favor Alabama by a point or 2. Well, guess what?
It's not
Tiger Stadium at night when Alabama comes to town is the least neutral site in all of college football. It is unneutral. So I am giving that home field advantage at least 4 to 5 points in my thinking, which means LSU should be favored by 3, but instead Alabama's favored by 3. And so I don't really need it in my personal life, Clint. Okay. I'm just going to be sprinkling it all on the money line. But for the purposes of the Locks pod, I will give you LSU +3 and tell you that that's what I'm going to lock up.
I'm going to go to the hits as well. I'm not going to, I'm going to say just quickly that I have a hits that personal hits, but I'm going to say as well, I second this lock. So I am also on LSU on this one. So we're conjoined. We're like DeVito and Schwarzenegger. We're twinsies. Yes. I'll let you figure out which one of us is that. And that'll just be that.
Sure.
Both great choices, by the way. I am going to go with Army. Army is back being my workhorse of a bet, Daniel. They are a whole unit.
What if you just took them on the money line every week this season? Would you be doing okay?
You'd be doing just fine.
Okay.
You'd be doing just fine. Look, this line is 5.5. That's an interesting line. I think it's perfectly set. Vegas has put that line out perfectly. North Texas can put points up on the board. They're not a great defensive unit. Army has a little bit of discipline on the defensive side of the ball, but their offense is humming. And again, when that thing gets humming, it don't stop. Like it just keeps going. The point total for Army is 34.5. The total for the whole game is 63.5. North Texas don't play offense or defense. Like they don't care. Give me Army over 34.5 all day long in this game.
We're betting an Army team total. This is the kind of insight that you can only find here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I'm going to say something that's going to upset some people, and I don't particularly care.
No, you don't.
I think Deion Sanders has done a phenomenal job this year at Colorado. Like he is doing really well. And if you're going to crucify the man when his team does poorly, you should probably give him some credit when his team plays well. And guess what? This Colorado team is playing really well. Do you know how many games Colorado State has lost in the Mountain West? Zero. Exactly 0 games. Colorado bludgeoned them earlier in the season. Colorado is rolling. Texas Tech is coming off a monumental win against Iowa State over the weekend, knocked off the undefeated Iowa State out of the Big 12.
Yep.
Texas Tech is a legitimate contender in the Big 12.
They're a good team.
But you go back and watch that Iowa State game, and I just don't. Texas Tech had no business winning that game. They got sort of fluky and lucky at the end. I think Colorado's just the better team. So even though they're going on the road, Colorado's playing a little defense now. I actually like what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. They're able to move the ball on offense. We know that they can do that. So give me Colorado -3.5 on the road in Lubbock at Texas Tech. I'll ride with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and the boys.
Daniel, for my next lock, you can tell me if I'm insane, if I'm crazy, but sure. I look at a line and it's a lot of points. It's 10.5 right now, and 10.5 is a lot of points to be given in any game in college football. These are competent schools, competent teams. Georgia Tech is at home catching 10.5.
Sure they are.
Miami don't have no business as a football team, but I'll tell you what they can do. Put up points with Cam Ward.
Yep.
Georgia Tech, I'm looking at their schedule. Daniel, they haven't stopped anybody all year long on the defensive side of the ball. And when they play teams like Virginia Tech, they're scoring 6. When they're playing Notre Dame, 13. Notre Dame's not a good school at all in football this year. I don't care what their ranking says. Louisville held them to 19. I don't see this line looks ridiculous. It should have been 14. I thought this
should have been 20.
Like, what is going on? Give me Miami, given the 10.5 to G Tech.
This line to me, I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, Clint. The reason I didn't bet it is because it's too low. Like, I mean, I'm legitimately being dead serious. It's 7.5 points lower than what I thought it should have been. And so I feel like Las Vegas is ultimately saying there is a Miami loss in there. Like, there is one in there. Like, there's a legitimate Miami loss, like, on the field this year. And so that's got to be what they're banking on. All right, we've got lots more locks to get to, a lot more football games on the board. But first, I want to let you know about these.
Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we know we want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatment that can only help you stay hard, last longer, giving you the boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing the men's health care game by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-entrusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints, Viagra, Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Just answer a series of questions on the site. Medical provider will determine the right treatment options. No insurance is needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers. Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today. hims.com/lockedon. That's hims.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. Him.com/lockedon. This product mentioned are chewable compound products which are not approved by the verified for the safety effectiveness by the FDA. Prescription requires an online consultation with healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Prices vary based on product and subscription plan. You had that 6-pack of logs ready to throw on, Daniel, and you said,
Sure, I did.
Let's go.
I'm
Give
sorry.
the people.
Back in segment 2, you had to rewind in your brain quite a bit. Who did you say was not a good football team this year? No matter what anybody says about them, I can't. Like, do you recall? You mentioned a team, Notre Dame. That's who it was. Not a good football team, or not a good football team.
They're bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you another team that's bad. Florida State.
What? One's not like the other. Notre Dame is bad, and they're not like the other.
Okay. Wouldn't it be hilarious if 1-8 Florida State beat Notre Dame this weekend and eliminated them from the college football playoff? I don't need them to do that, Clint, because I'm getting Florida State plus 26. So I'm taking the Seminoles plus 6 against Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame's 26 points better than anybody.
No one
this year. And I'm proving that. I'm proving that by betting on the worst team in college football, the Florida State Seminoles, plus 26. So give me Florida State plus 26. It's disgusting. I hate it, but I'm gonna bet
it. Did you ever imagine this season started, you'd be looking at Florida State, Notre Dame, and having that be the line for the game?
No, you go back to the preseason, and like Florida State was probably like a 3-point favorite.
Yep.
In this game.
Yeah.
Swung 29 points since then.
Oh my gosh. A game of note before I give you my lock, because Michigan, Indiana. Indiana is favored by 13.5 at home against the Wolverine. My gosh, talk about before the season. I showed anybody that line before the season, and they're like, "You're stupid."
Please, crappy spot for Indiana, because Michigan sucks so bad that they're going to get no credit for winning this game. And this was their big game at home. Next week they play Florida State, they play Ohio State, but it's on the road. Yep. This was their opportunity to get one of the big boys at home. Unfortunately, they should have had Penn State on the schedule. Instead, they had Michigan on the schedule. And so Indiana needs to win, and then they need to beat Ohio State next week. Anyway,
they have.
I got 3 more, Clint. How many more you got?
I got 2 more. So I'm going to tell you a teaser, and then I'm going to give you one of mine. A line that stinks to high heaven, and Vegas is begging for you to do something with it, and I'm not going to take the bait. It's a hot and cold team. South Carolina goes to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, good team. No troll, no hardship. Good team, good quarterback. Clark Lee doing some things. That line's 3.5.
Sure.
Vandy is catching 3.5 at home against a hot and cold team, coming off a huge emotional win, emotional letdown game. But that 3 and a hook, Daniel.
Yep.
I hate that line. If it was 2.5, I'd feel different. If it was 4, I'd feel 3.5. I hate that. I hate that line.
Give me Vandy, you coward. You coward. Give me
Vandy.
I
wasn't done, Daniel. We were doing our thing. I had set you up. I had talked about it. Give me Vandy at home, catching points. They're the better team. South Carolina, huge emotional letdown. Give me Vandy.
It's just the most crazy thing I've ever said in my life right now.
Okay.
I trust Clark Lee more than I trust Shane Beamer in this spot.
He's not wrong.
Diego Pavia at home, like, they're not satisfied with a bowl game, Clint. They're bowl eligible right now, but they're not satisfied. Tennessee, I know you got us coming up next week. You might want to circle that game in Nashville at the end of the year, because you're going to have more fans in the stands than Vandy is. They don't care. Alabama had more fans in the stands than they did. They don't care at all. Give me Vandy.
Yeah, give me Vandy as well. I was trying to set you up, but thank you for ruining all my fun.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. I'm also going to take Duke plus 3.5 on the road at NC State. Duke's a pretty good football team. Yeah. They hung right in there with Miami. That game got way out of hand at the end of the game, and Miami ended up covering the spread after being down 13 points in the fourth quarter. Miami went on to win by 20. Clint, do you even process what I'm saying? Like, that's insane. Duke is a pretty good football team. They're playing really well. They have a talented roster. I don't think NC State has the horses to hang with Duke. And so catching points on the road, I don't think it's going to be a sleepy environment. Give me Duke plus 3.5.
NC State, before the season began, a darling to win the ACC, Daniel. That is gone.
I said it. I'll
there he is, people, ladies and gentlemen. He's back up. Okay, a couple more. Look, I don't know why I'm taking this, but it beckons and it calls to me. You said Tennessee has a game against us coming up where they're going to have to go on the road. They're looking ahead a little bit, Daniel.
Don't do this.
Mississippi State.
As a friend, I'm telling you not to do this.
Give me Mississippi State plus 23.5. Here's why. Van Buren can ball. Y'all, he is erratic and he is great, but the dude is talented and electric.
He can ball against us, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Oh, where's my bucket?
Okay, there it is.
Hold on.
Hold on.
We
still need to make those patented buckets. Tennessee can't score in the first half. They refuse to get going in the first half. It is like a cold start engine.
They don't do it.
I think it's going to be. So I'm not going to.
What's that line in the? Hold on. While you're giving your next one, I'm going to look up the first half line in that game, and I may take that. Because that's not bad right there.
I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they're going to outpace 23.5 in the second half, because I think Mississippi State is going to learn a few things. I think they're going to try to drain the clock a little bit. 23.5 is far too many points in this game. With
Mississippi State plus 13.5 in the first half. Yeah, I'll throw a little.
There it is. Now we're talking. There's another log on the fire. Yeah. I appreciate you. No, the last game I had, again, just a weird looking at spot. Why is Oklahoma? I mean, I know that Brady Cook may not play, but Oklahoma is favored on the road against Missouri, 2.5 points.
Mm-hmm. Could I give you a little insight into it?
Please do, Daniel.
Missouri really sucks. They just somehow are still ranked in the top 25. They really, really suck.
They're bad
at football. They're bad. Oklahoma, though, also really bad at football.
Yeah.
You taking the home team here?
No. This is a stay away game for. It's just an interesting line. I'm going to be like, this is just interesting to me. SEC, Oklahoma. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
No, it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. All right, what's the last one you got?
I got a last one. Letdown spot. You had your heart ripped out last week. You had a big moment in the sun.
You tried.
But did you try? Because your offense scored 6 total points.
That's a bummer.
It's not enough points. I tell you, you got a Washington team coming in if you're Penn State.
Here we go.
Washington's a scrappy little football team this year.
Yeah, they are.
Plus 14? Yeah. Give me the Huskies. Give me the Huskies going into Beaver Stadium. Plus 14. They might not beat Penn State.
No.
But they might beat Penn State.
They could win on the field.
You understand?
I don't know if you just let me tell you two things. It's November and James Franklin is coaching Penn State.
Whoopsies.
A little look ahead, just a little extra for you to put in your little stocking stuffer.
Okay.
The early line, Georgia, Tennessee is out, and it's 8.5 over on FanDuel right now. Daniel.
Georgia minus 8.5.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Wonder what that. Oh, that is. Listen, we might lose to Ole Miss. I'm here to tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, that's a very foreseeable future type event. But the following week at home,
we're not losing to Tennessee.
There it is.
We ain't gonna lose.
Go ahead and find them points and go ahead and just lay them.
All right. He is Clint. I am Daniel. This has been the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day. We will be back tomorrow talking more about the Georgia Ole Miss game, and we'll see you guys then.
See ya.